What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a ton of news for this week. We have a lot of updates with Boeing, the solar winds hack. Of course, we're going to be covering Palantir. It's been on fire, and we have to go over all the big earnings for this week. At the end of the video, we have a $4.1 million options trade for this week. Make sure to stick around for that. And as always, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But with that being said, Tom, let's get started with today's video.
Yeah, Boeing actually had some terrible news come out today, and CNBC reports that United Boeing 777 suffers engine failure after takeoff from Denver. Debris was found, but no injuries were reported, and the plane had to return to Denver where it landed safely. And I actually have some pictures of the debris here, and I have a quick little video that someone put out from Twitter, and this was right out of their cockpit window. This is what the engine looked like while they were flying, and that's pretty scary. If I was in that airplane, I would be pretty freaked out at this point. And that's just a bad thing for Boeing. Hopefully it doesn't hurt them. They actually had a very good Friday, and they've been recovering nicely, since their corona lows. And they also had problems with those 737 MAX jets a little while back. So hopefully this doesn't make Boeing go down, kind of like those other problems made them go down.
For sure. I remember when there problems with the 737 MAX, like that really took a toll on Boeing stock. So I'm very curious to see how this event will affect Boeing for this upcoming week, because like you said, Tom, they had a pretty solid close on Friday. They had a good amount of momentum, up around 4.5%. I'm just very curious to see how this might affect their stock.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and like we said, Boeing's been a pretty good time to pick up some shares here, around $200. If this does happen and make them go down, it might even be a better time to start averaging in and getting even more shares lower on Boeing. So if Boeing ends up falling below 200, I think that they could go pretty low, and this is just some pretty bad news. So definitely watch out for it on Monday morning.
For sure. And I'm glad you brought up like that potential dip buy, because let's say we do see Boeing fall. I think, if it falls to around 200, maybe 205, something like that, I would think about getting some cash secured puts. And guys, I just want to clarify, cash secured puts is like when you sell a put with the intention to maybe pick up shares for the long term. So overall, it's definitely an interesting setup, and I'm definitely going to be watching it for this week. But what's going on with this solar winds hack? Ticker symbol SWI.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting, and they're actually on a pretty steep downtrend here. SolarWinds had a hack a little while ago, and this was a pretty big revelation when it happened. But the thing is that now the White House put out, and Reuters reported this, but the White House put out that they're going to go ahead and respond to those hacks within weeks and not within months. So within a few weeks, apparently they're going to respond to this Russian hack. And SWI has earnings coming up, but the thing is that if they start responding to that, that could really make the VXX and the overall market possibly go down. The VXX would go up, obviously, but the overall market could possibly start to go down if there is a retaliation like with Russia here. And then Russia could somehow retaliate with oil or retaliate in some military way, or who knows what'll happen, but some tensions will start to get high, and that could definitely hurt the S&P and the Dow for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The market has been so stagnant for the past 2 weeks. I just like to see some movement to the upside or the downside. But obviously, Palantir is one of the hottest stocks on the market right now. Fell on earnings last week and had a great day on Friday, up over 15%. What's going on there?
Yeah, this stock is just doing awesome. They had some bad earnings, ended up going down, but people are still buying this stock back up. And I just, this is just an awesome stock here. We were talking about getting some cash secured puts whenever it was around $25. So that would have been a great thing to do if you did get those. But I still think it's at a pretty good spot here, around $30. There's a great support at 25, which we're holding. And I see a resistance around 31. And if it breaks that, maybe even 33 here, you can see a couple candles in the past where it hit those levels and then fell back down. I think that 31 would be a pretty decent level here. If we do go up tomorrow, watch for that. I think 31 could be a decent spot. But man, this stock was on fire, closed very well on Friday, almost like Boeing, except it went up a lot more, up 15% above the SMAs. I just really like the movement out of this, and it's holding that high. And it looks like if it breaks 30, it could run up to 31 or 32.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Tom, what's going on with all these earnings this week? I know we have a couple big companies reporting.
Yeah, these are huge. We have Oxy on Monday. This is just a huge earnings week. One of the biggest ones we've had, I think. Home Depot, Macy's, Square, JMIA, which has been rocking the markets lately. Lowe's, Overstock, NVDA, Nvidia. That's a huge one on Wednesday. Six Flags, TJX, Moderna, Rocket Mortgage, Salesforce, even DraftKings, Kronos, Airbnb, Nikola, Best Buy, which has been on fire lately, or it was hyped up during the GameStop stuff, but other than that, I think it's just an awesome earnings week. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. What are your favorite ones?
I'm telling you, I'm really keeping my eye on Redfin. Tom, I'm surprised you didn't point that out. But if you look at their chart, they've just been rocking upwards for the past years. They went from about $9.63 to highs of $97.15. I want to say last week. So overall, it's just been skyrocketing upwards. And I'm very curious to see what type of earnings they report and if they can continue this momentum, because they're up almost 10 times their price from a year ago. So they're just exploding overall. Yeah, it's definitely my top watch for this week.
Yeah, and they're right around all-time highs. I think that's an amazing one. Like, especially if they could break 97.15, like possibly tomorrow, you could trade it before earnings and with just like a run up into earnings. And then maybe when earnings come out, it'll make it go down. Who knows? But I wouldn't trade it through earnings, I don't think, but I would try to play it before or after.
For sure. Ride that momentum, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think my favorite one will be NVDA. I think this stock's around all-time highs as well, kind of like Redfin is. And I think this stock could be a pretty good run up into earnings maybe. I'm not sure how well they're gonna do on earnings. I know that they just actually came out with some new graphics cards that are meant for mining Bitcoin and Ethereum. So hopefully that can help them.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into our member of the day and then the momentum plays. So, our member of the day is Slow and Steady. So, Slow and Steady is an amazing member of the Discord community. Also, he's always commenting on our videos. Thank you so much, Slow and Steady, for all of your positivity, all of your support. Tom and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. The first one we're looking at is WFC, Wells Fargo. It's had a pretty solid run up for the past 2 to 3 weeks. It's just exploding, went from about $30 to about 38. Has a ton of momentum. Tom, what levels should we be watching?
Yeah, make this break above $38, and these banks are on fire. They could really start to move.
Yep, and then Boeing. So this catalyst with their engine failure is relatively new, but it's definitely with the way it closed on Friday. It's definitely a potential momentum play. So this momentum play can definitely be a little interesting, like if Boeing gaps down tomorrow. But based off of Friday's movement, Tom, what levels should we be watching?
Yeah, I'd really make it break above 318. It looks like it hit that around pretty close to twice over the past couple weeks, and I think that that's just an amazing level there. Like you said, they could end up falling down, but make them break above 218. And if they fall to the downside, really watch for a bottom support around 208.
Awesome. And then with the next one, we have Snapchat, SNAP. This stock is absolutely exploding. Went from about $7.90 to highs of around $65.80 over the past year. Has a ton of momentum. It's growing pretty steadily. What levels should we be watching?
Yeah, just make them break above that high of 65.79. Or if you want to make it a little more interesting, make it break above 66. But I think that this stock looks very, very hot right now. It looks like it could definitely run. I really love that break there above 65. And I just think it could hold this and keep running up next week. I think this will be my favorite stock next week.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch. Well, let's get right into our $4.1 million trade for this week. We are looking at the Boeing 220 strike calls that expire this Friday, February 26th. So this is definitely an interesting play, especially with this engine failure catalyst. I doubt anyone would have known that catalyst would have happened or would have been able to predict that, but it's definitely an interesting play. Boeing, like we said, had a great close on Friday. It was closing near its highs. This option is relatively close to the money. It has a decent amount of money going into it. It has a decent amount of time. So, it's really a tricky situation. If we see Boeing holding its ground or even up tomorrow morning, I think this can be a pretty good potential play. But I really wouldn't be surprised if Boeing gaps down tomorrow too. So it's definitely an interesting situation.
Yeah, definitely. I really think that what happened with this is I think that these people longed these calls and then now this happened to them. And I think it might be just an unfortunate situation for them because Boeing was looking very nice off the technicals at those highs there. I think that they probably longed those calls and then now this happened. So they might actually, they might lose quite a bit of money on this play if they did end up longing those.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, looking at the chart, it looks pretty solid, but I don't think anyone could have or would have predicted a catalyst like this. So it's definitely an interesting play. Let's get right into our comments from the previous episode. Now, we have a lot of questions regarding snowflakes. So we have Faye asking about SNOW. So it looks to be channeling between this. I don't know. It's just kind of like slow and steady, but it is moving up, which is good. I don't know, Tom, do you have any levels? It's kind of choppy to me.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good support here around $280. You can see that it hit on this candlestick back on September 30th, and then also it just hit it on February 18th here. So you can see that that's where it bounced off of that level. I think that's going to be a pretty good bounce off of support there, and it actually broke out of the wedge formation that it was in for the longer term, and it is holding the bottom trend line, which is good for the longer term to the upside on the daily chart, that is. But I do like this stock. I think it could start to move up this week, just given what's going on and that bounce off of the support. But anything can happen with this type of company.
For sure. With the next question, we have Dustin saying, thanks, guys. Love your reports. Can you please comment on AWH and JMIA? So if we take a look at AWH, it looks to be trending up, which is awesome to see. Overall, looks pretty solid. If we look at like a max weekly chart, it does not look too good. We could see back in, what is that, 2010, this stock was actually trading at $34 and it hit lows of 27 cents back in 2019. Now it's running up to just under $8. So it definitely took a beating over the past 10 years. So it's definitely a turnoff for me for the long term. But for the short term, it looks to be recovering kind of well. What do you think?
Yeah, it's recovering pretty good in the shorter term. It's starting to come to the downside at one, two, three, four, around 4 or 5 red candles in a row. It's getting closer to that support there, though. I think around $7. If it can hold that, I think it'd be pretty good.
Awesome. Then he was also asking about JMIA. So this stock actually reports earnings this week, which, Tom and I never play the actual earnings release. We'll play the run up or the rundown beforehand, and then we'll also ride the momentum afterwards. But playing the earnings release is always a straight gamble. I think the way to go with this one is just ride that momentum. If we see it pop up on Monday and Tuesday, it can be a good play, or even if it goes down, it could be a good play. But I definitely wouldn't play the earnings release.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but hopefully they can post decent earnings given that they're almost like an Amazon for Africa. So that I think it's a very good company though. And I think it could be a good longer term play. It is down a little bit right now heading into earnings. And I think just given how much hype it had, it could possibly fall on earnings if it cannot hold up with that hype. If it posts another negative 0.59 EPS like it did the past 2 earnings, I think it will end up falling down again.
Awesome. Well, with the next question, we have Sean asking about RKT. So, Tom, I know Hunter loves this stock and you do too a little bit, but what's going on there? It looks like it's just been super flat for what, what is this, the past 4 months, 5 months? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, it's just been trading between $19 and around pretty much between 19 and 24. It's been a pretty good little range there. You could have traded a few times and made some good gains between there, but like you said, it's just been flat in that range. It's bouncing off of that support around $19 once again, heading to the upside. There is earnings coming out this week with them on the 25th, so watch out for that. I think that'll be a pretty big thing for this company. The earnings have not affected it too much in the past. The last time that they posted earnings, they actually ended up falling. Well, that, I mean, the last time they posted earnings and moved significantly, they ended up falling. They posted earnings here and just kind of went flat. But hopefully the earnings can be pretty decent with them. If rates keep rising, that'll help them in the longer term. But at the same time, if people aren't buying as much houses and stuff, that could actually hurt them as well. So just keep in mind, if the rates rise but people aren't buying, that'll just be a double whammy, hurt for them. But they could do good though if the rates rise and people are still buying houses.
True that. Then we have Rebecca saying, can you make a video on SENS? I would love to hear your thoughts on the company. Might buy the dip Monday. So we did not dive deep into their fundamentals, but looking at their chart, it looks like they're doing amazing. It went from about 35 cents to $5.56 in the past 2 or 3 months. So it's been doing amazing from a technical standpoint. I mean, it looks to be going like pretty slow and steady. I like how it runs up, has a pullback for a little bit, runs up, has a pullback. But overall, that's what I really like about it. Like I said, I didn't dive deep into their fundamentals, but from a technical standpoint, they look okay. Obviously not the best, but they look okay. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been a big runner from, like you said, 35 cents to $5.56. Just an amazing stock if you would have bought it at the lows. They do have earnings coming up at the beginning of March, so watch out for that. But I do like it off of the technicals on the shorter term as well. I think it could possibly keep stair stepping back to the upside here. If it retests 550, then that would be a great pickup for you if you did get it down here at these lower levels. But just keep in mind, it did have three negative days here, and it could keep falling, and nobody knows what's going to really happen with it.
For sure. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the positive comments on this video. We really appreciate everyone who leaves comments. I'm reading through the comments on the previous video, and there's so many people just saying great video or comment for the algo. So thank you guys so much for that. Comments really help grow our channel. We really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for all of those comments. But Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for this week?
There was supposed to be some news with SPCE coming out this weekend. I tried to find some news on it. I didn't see too much stuff. But in the short term, I think this stock could do pretty good. It's bouncing off support around $45. I think that this could be a really good stock to watch this week, especially if some stuff comes out about their test flights and stuff like that again. And I think that Boeing is obviously going to be an awesome stock to watch Monday morning, whether it goes up or whether it goes down. Probably down given what happened with that engine. And I think that's going to be a big one to watch. They could take a pretty big hit from this. Who knows? But I think that's going to be an awesome one to watch come pre-market. I might even wake up at 4 a.m. for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting catalyst. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to trade with Tom and I every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But with that being said, thanks for watching.